Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is James Shope. I am the player, dungeon master, and co-creator of the Myth and Moon podcast. And hopefully you know that by now. This is largely going to be a video for our Patreon followers and supporters. This is kind of a thank you. This is me loosening up and warming up to this, being on camera, and actually setting something up in my office where I can record video. So, hello. Thank you first so much for supporting us. I think if you're seeing this, this means that fundamentally you have faith in us as creators, you enjoy the show, or you are just interested in supporting us in our own kind of creative endeavors. And in all of those things, that's a huge thank you. And so as a reward, I'd like to kind of just give you this and share with you a little bit about what's coming next and what I've been working on and why we've been a little radio silent following the end of season 1. We have been setting up and learning how to do video. About a year and a half ago, when I first started doing work for Myth and Moon, when I very first started, I was learning how to do sound. I was learning how to actually write and create. I was practicing voice acting. I was figuring out all of these things. And now here I am, end of season 1, having to now learn how to do this, which is not easy. Not at all. I have to have the right equipment for it, which I have now. I've got a key light here. I've got my microphone that's kind of hidden off screen. I've got a backlight for my head. I've got a backlight here for the wall itself to kind of give it some texture and color. I've staged the room, so I've got my office here that I've kind of set up in a way that I think is interesting to look at. And I have this now beautiful, amazing gift from my wife, which is our Myth and Moon logo. So a very, very cool thing. But this takes quite a bit of setup. I've had to learn a ton. I've had to learn how to set up a camera in a way that I can actually get the white balance right, that looks good or kind of is to my taste. And I've also had to come to terms that it may not be as good as I want it to be yet, which is okay. When you're starting out doing anything at all, anything creative, it's never going to be as good as you want it to be, because you're just starting out. So there's a big part of me that is swallowing my pride or my taste or trying to figure out exactly, what I want to do with this and just putting it out there. And so you guys are seeing really something very raw from me, which is just hey, I'm doing this. This is video. and trying to learn, how to talk to a camera and be alone in a room. It's weird. But I'm trying to imagine you all here in front of me and how I would speak to you if I could. And because now we're doing this video, I can now kind of talk to you guys in ways that I haven't been able to do. I can reach out to new fans. I can connect with people that are interested in the solo TTRPG space, and I can bring them all into Myth and Moon. So this is really exciting. This is something that I'm very interested in doing. So all of this video stuff is going to be a way for me to connect with you and to tell you what's coming, to get excited about things that are right around the corner, maybe to do some listening and reaction stuff to things that we have to have done, and maybe reaching out to people that look at solo D&D and they go, why? And we have answers for them. And maybe those answers can connect and really drive them to be interested in what we're doing, and maybe they can learn. The coolest thing I could do would maybe be to inspire other people that are playing D&D or that are interested in some of the things that we are to then pick up and start doing some of these things themselves. That's super cool. So there's a lot of possibility. There's a lot of learning. There's going to have to be a lot of patience. I am still dreading sitting in front of the editing computer and actually putting this all together, but I think it's important. And this is going to be a large part of what we do in between season 1 and season 2 is learning how to do this, learning how to elevate all of our promotional and marketing game, because it's a game and it's a large part of being a creator in the modern era, is being able to have these sort of connections with other people, but also the ability to kind of do a lot of things yourself. All right, now I'm definitely getting off track. Okay. All right, let's wind it all back for a minute and let's talk about season 1 to season 2. I know many of you have probably read my post where I was kind of highlighting like what was going on, what my goals were for all of this. I'll just kind of announce those one more time. So 1, we are trying to get ahead of really ahead of season 2. As many episodes as we can finish, box, and set away, that gives us room in the future to be able to adapt to things that are going on in our lives that may take us away from our, production workflow. It takes about 15 hours to produce an episode. And all throughout season 1, that did not get shorter. We just kind of added more stuff, more crunchy detail and context and sound effects and balancing. So we're still really in about that 15-hour window for every single episode. From playing, writing, recording, and final edits, mastering. All of that takes about 15 hours of time just for one episode. We have season 2 arriving, which I think is in September. I really should probably have an actual date. I'm going to pause here, and maybe I could put a graphic up here that says the actual date. That would be smart, James. We'll fix it in post. Let's reminisce for a quick moment and just talk about how cool this has been. A year and a half ago, I was an aspiring creator. I had lived my whole life wanting to do something else, wanting to write. I had spent 6 years in the restaurant industry, managing restaurants, and every single time I would tell myself, I'm going to do this as a day job and I'm going to write. And for 6 long years, I got really just absorbed in my work and I didn't spend any time writing. And I had been, I've always been creative. Ever since I was young, I was actually kind of playing, in the way that I'm even playing now for Myth and Moon. This is what I would do. This is how I would play. So to finally do it, and having spent this year and a half, I have filmed 2 short films. I have, wrapped a season 1 of an entire podcast, and now I'm dipping my toes into video work and what that might look like. It's exciting, it's daunting, it's really rewarding, and I am taming my expectations and saying that, this is, for me, still a first. And I have a long way to go and a long journey, but I'm doing it. And as long as I commit to kind of this regular work, and I make this sort of routine for myself, this creative space that I carve out in my day, and I say, go do this, and I get into that routine, then I will have built a practice. And over the course of maybe the next year, who knows where I'll be and what I'll be trying to learn and do. And that's exciting. But it starts just by hitting record and by maybe being okay with not being perfect. I think perfection is the enemy of progress. And you have to remember, I think, speaking to any other, people that want to create or write or do things or play in a way that satisfies them, build for the person that you want to be, but realize that you're probably not there yet, and that's okay. That's going to take time. I'll share one little fun anecdote, which I think is just, interesting. I don't know if I'll even keep this on. I used to work in the senior living space for quite some time. It's where I met my wife. I was, running and managing restaurants in a very, very cool senior living community. And I was enamored. I was absolutely enamored by all of the artists that were here. I mean, these were all people in their 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And they would have an art club. And they had tons of incredible artists. I mean, these people were doing unbelievable paintings, woodwork, jazz musicians, just everybody was an artist. And I was floored. I was fascinated. And I asked them, how many years have you been doing this? This seems like, in order for you to be this good, you must have done this for a long time. And they're like, oh yeah, I have. I've done it for about 20 years. Now, 20 years is a long time, but they're 70 years old. So what that taught me is that there's going to be things in my life, skills and art that I will master that I haven't even started yet, that I haven't even begun. And one day I hope that I will be able to be a master of that craft that can share that and can make people around me feel joy and happiness and fulfillment, because that's what art can do. And that's what I was seeing these folks in the senior living community do, is they would share their art and they would make people's day better. I will never forget the jazz pianist who every Thursday would sit there and play the piano, and you would see a crowd of other residents just sit there and relax with their significant others or their friends, and they would sink into the chairs and they would close their eyes and they would just listen, and it would make their day. And that's really cool. And my goal is to be that end game, but that means I have a lot of time. I have a lot of time to be a good person, to hone my craft, and to find and notice things in my life that inspire me. And that's it, Be patient. Be patient with art, and it will reward you. And that's what I've learned, So I've learned to keep learning and to never stop and to not be daunted by the fact that I'm not as good as I want to be right now, but that I can be if I keep doing it. And that when I am 50, I will have been writing professionally, potentially for 20 years. So maybe then that means that around that time, that's when I can really start to see that I'm doing things that I want to be doing. And that's okay. And enjoy where you're at, enjoy what you're doing. Do it because it's fun. And then you'll find constant reward. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully you guys enjoy that, and stay tuned, because this is going to be something that I do far more often and find new ways to kind of connect with people. So if you guys have any ideas or things that you want to see, or, let's do this, let's record that, I really want to hear reactions, or whatever that looks like, reach out and let us know. You have us on Discord. You have us on Patreon, you have us here on Instagram, or even, in comments on Spotify, or whatever that looks like for you. Just reach out and let us know. I mean, right now we're small enough where we can actually really engage with fans, and that's something that we should be doing. There's so many of you that have reached out to us personally, and I just want to say thank you, and let's keep going. All right. This has been so much fun, and hopefully this turns out well in post, and I don't regret anything that I said or did. We'll see. Anyway, this has been fun, and we'll do it more. I'm James, signing out.